that's what takes so long in entrepreneurship, which is why your second business always goes faster than your first, your third goes faster than your second, and it always gets faster because I know how to fill all the roles all the way up. And then once we're at, once we try to go from 200 million a year to $1 billion a year, it's like there's a whole bunch of stuff I don't know. And so I'm going to have to try and find really high level people that I'm like, I think this is what it looks like. And I just make my best bet.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just how quickly you can go through those cycles of people who have talent and assess whether they're good or not. But the very beginning of it is making sure that they agree with you on what the metric they're supposed to be driving is.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you ask a customer support rep, like, what do you do in this business? And you say, how do you make this business money? It's a great test.
Yeah.
Because if they can't answer that question, then I can guarantee you that they're probably not going to do it. Right?
True.
Right? Like if you ask a sales director, how do you make this business more money? And they say, we're going to close more sales. I'm like, but you're not going to close any sales because you're the sales director. So how are you going to make this business more money?
Mm-hmm.
You watch people melt in front of you. But a good sales director would be like, oh, well, I'm going to make sure that we increase the average close rate of the team. I'll be able to train new guys up and recruit them so that they can have a faster on-ramp. And so if I can increase the average closing percentage of the team and double the size of the team while maintaining that percentage, we'll make more money. And I'll be like, yes. Because if they answer like that, they understand the role. And so asking the question just like simply, like, tell me how what you do every day makes us more money.
Got it. That's a really good, I think, test as well.
You ask a finance person, how do you make us more money? How do you making spreadsheets make us more money? It's like, well, they might be like, well, I can help, allocate things correctly for taxes so we can have some savings there. I can also every quarter look at all the expenses and see what we can cut because we're always going to, have things that, software subscriptions, things like that get lopped on. I'm going to put budgets for each of the departments to make sure that they don't go over. And I'm going to give you real-time data on customer metrics so that you can make informed decisions so that you can grow the company faster. And I'd be like, those are great reasons.
When you start to kind of build up, so the way I did it, I think was wrong. Was smaller hours, right, for kind of what I perceived as experts, although I did not, measure. I was saying, okay, this experience looks like a great fit and they have been part of the community, etc. So I believe that I should have had fewer people, maybe just one role to kind of take off load from me. Is that the right approach?
I think fundamentally the entrepreneur journey, because at the very beginning, you do everything.
Mm-hmm.
There's just not a lot. There's a tiny amount of lots of different types of things.
Mm-hmm.
And as you scale, there's more and more work of each of those types of things until eventually it's a full person's role.
Yeah.
And so the job of the entrepreneur is looking at your calendar and allocating time. Like time is the one resource that all entrepreneurs are given equally.
Mm-hmm.
And so we have to see where are we investing our time that gets us the highest return.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we look at our schedules and say, okay, 2/3 of my time is going to this one task that I think I can hire out competently at this rate, and I can replace that with more of the 1/3 that makes us all this money, then that's what you do. And you basically do that on a consistent basis.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes it's work that you're not doing, which is like you weren't operating, right? Because that work starts to exist. Because when it was just you, there was zero operations. You communicate with yourself pretty easily,
Mm-hmm.
right? But as soon as you had 5 employees, then all of a sudden you like need to manage people and make sure that they're, they have clear communication and they have objectives they need to meet every week. And so it's like, ooh, there's this new job that either I'm not doing or I'm doing poorly. Well, I should bring someone in who can do that. And so I think most businesses typically have something that, Layla and I've called the first follower, but it's somebody who's like, who becomes your right hand. And ideally it's like that partner thing, which is like, you want someone who's better at that thing than you. Like Layla is better at running the team than I am. She's a better leader than I am, especially internally. And so she's exceptional at it. And because of that, we both talk about, she's like, I could never do what you do. I just like, it'd be such a learning curve. I was like, you'd have to spend 13 years doing it all day, every day to get as good as I am. And I'm like, man, thank God you're here because I could not run this business without you. And she's like, yeah, because you spent the last 13 years doing advertising, marketing, and sales. And I spent all this time, learning how to onboard people and learning how to recruit and learning how to cast an internal vision and build out career paths and compensation structures and all of that stuff. And so the better and better we get at it, the more difficult it would be to replace one another because we just get more and more experience. And I think that just consistently happens. But when you're in the 1 to 3 million, you just want to have somebody who's smarter than you. Like, and that's the hard part is that when you're hiring, especially as you scale, and it's true all the way through, is that we had somebody that I interview people plenty, but we had a recent interview that I took where we passed on the candidate and my head of recruiting was like, can you just give me some feedback on like what was wrong with this guy? And the thing is that the guy had the experience, nice guy. I think he would work fine on the team. I just said, I think he was just okay. And if I look at the team that he's about to enter, he's the worst person on the team. He's not going to raise the bar of the team. He's certainly not at the bar of the team. And he was like, yeah, I think you're right. And I was like, right. So when you're going to pass me another candidate, look at the team. Is this person better? If yes, pass them. If they're not better than the team, I'm just going to say no. Because as a company expands, it tends to dilute. People hire people worse than them because they feel comfortable with that.
Yeah.
When they hire people as good or better, they get threatened. So it's job security. But that's what makes businesses worse. And so the rule of just saying whoever comes in has to be better than everyone else at that level. I'm not saying that frontline customer support has to be better than the CFO, right? But then all the other support reps, you want them to be better.
Yeah.
And so they have to be better than their peers when they walk in the door. And if they have that, then the company will continue to improve. That
makes so much sense. Just quickly want to circle back to Skool as well, because I know that many will be interested in that. What's kind of the vision for the games? That's kind of your monthly...
it's our challenge, right? We somehow challenge. We do it. It worked the first time, and so we continue to do it.
Yeah. And will there any new weapons or anything you can already tease?
There's tons of new weapons that are going to be coming out. I mean, we're focused on... people have been pretty clear. I mean, I think we said it at the one day. It's like people want free trials. People want, one-time course purchase, which we rolled out. And then people want affiliates. And so we have heard, and that is what we are working on.